change quickly, and and that's how it turns. I could just see now that they've been putting offers out there at 10,000. Whenever you see a big offer, they jump in front of it and try to go. They
That's
don't want to sell
spoofing.
that. You got this
Totally
spoof.
illegal. Total manipulation. If the SEC
Right,
is watching, they need to study their own rules.
right. None of these stocks do not trade like this all the time. These are classic, trying to manipulate it down. There's no bids and there's offers. You can just see it. They just try to push it down. Hey, we call this the old. This is the Kramer discount. We labeled it. Naked short sellers love to give a discount. Remember, they can't let the stock go up. They have to push it down. So if you were paying attention to the Kramer discount, you bought stock below 5, you bought stock at 4 when they were tossing it out the window, and here it is. It's turned back up and almost hit 6 today. So that is a discount when they come after you.
I think Boscaz had the Lido shuffle. This is the Lind shuffle.
The Lynn shuffle, right. The curly shuffle, that's what it is.
The curly shuffle.
Again, these are not bright people. This is an offshore entity that's just here trying to steal money. But every time they sell it, they need to put up margin money, and it's just choking them. And it keeps choking them and choking them. And that's all I can see. That's it.
That's all the questions.
Well, I just wanted to touch base. I got my strength back from all the travels and drinking and whatever I'm doing. And again, I poke fun at Dozer, but he's a good man. He stood up. He's taken his beating. But my orange clowns from Clemson getting beat by Duke put a bigger smile on my face than beating LSU.
What was the other side of the bet? You would have to shave your head bald?
Yes, no, I was going to have to walk around with LSU in New York City, but no one even knows what LSU is in Manhattan, so
they wouldn't care.
Worthless.
Yeah,
he didn't know that. I didn't want to tell him that, but I would have taken any side of those crazy bets because New York City is not a college football town; it's a pro town. If he told me to walk around with a Buffalo jersey on against with the Jets fans or a Washington jersey against the Giant fans, I get more abuse than that than the LSU stuff. But anyway, there's nothing. Right, go enjoy your tennis, and everyone enjoy your day.
Well, I'll be around later this afternoon if something explodes and you want to come on again.
I will give you a call back, but I do believe it's beautiful outside. I'm going to go outside and just watch the accumulation and just keep pitching. That's it. Nothing you can do.
All right.
Have a good day.
Thank you, Ham. Bye. Guys, I don't know what. Now I've got 66 people. That's twice. Maybe they know how to turn off my stream. I don't know what happened. I'm not going to go very long. I do want to show you. I pulled this chart today, and you can see it's totally useless, and it's hard to read, but at the sort of $6 level, that's the yellow line. It sets up, to me, it sets up $6.50 obviously, then $7 obviously, and to me, the next move is to 8.25. You know, you can argue with it, but I think they're fighting $6 hard because $6.50 isn't that much further, and I don't see a lot of resistance there. And in fact, $6.50 is above the downward resistance line, which constantly changes, the new downward resistance line. So I think if it gets through 6.50, 7, and then 8.25. And then if it gets through 8.25, I see basically, it's hard to read, but I see $9.50. And if it gets through that, $90. $90. How's that for a call? I don't think they like the $6. Yeah, I think there's something they're able to do because that's twice on my computer. I did buy one of these things to try to reduce the storage. But frankly, I'm not figuring out how to do it. I need like that guy on Family Guy. I need to pick up a 8-year-old kid and set him on my desk and have him fix it all for me, because I can't figure out how to do it. So anyway, that I wanted to show you that. We went over the tennis. I should look up. I don't think there's an index in the back of here. I'll look and see. No, there's no index. So next time I'll read out from here. I'll read out the portion of the 1933 and the 1934 Securities Acts which require settlement. I'll read that out. This is in the SEC, this big book. It's all laws. The SEC portion's fairly small. They got lawyers over there. They know that they have to settle the trades. They know. I know your kids fix all of your stuff with their eyes closed, then they roll their eyes. That's right. Captain, Lieutenant, do you mind if I ask you a question? No, Callahan, what is it? Do you have any kids? No. Lucky for them. Logic, play timers, salad. I expect approval on Logic's distribution of data logic into the Aubrey SPAC this week. There was I couldn't really understand the import of it, but there was a filing to the SEC that kind of reviewed the merger. Well, it's not a merger. It's it's an acquisition of data logic by Aubrey SPAC. And that went up right beginning of this week. So I expect that approval to come in, and I think it'll change the dynamic of what's going on in Logic. Remember, you've probably got two sellers in Logic. One is there may be leftover pissed off shareholders or leftover contractors who were paid with shares, and they're just selling just to get their cash out. That won't last forever, and in fact, it's probably already over with. The other seller are short sellers, and there's legitimate and non-legitimate. There's the shorts and the Gensler shares. The selling of the Logic shares is because when they distribute data logic into the Aubrey SPAC, which will become known as collective audience, all of that earning power, all of that revenue goes to the SPAC. So the shorts are saying, well, then the logic becomes a shell. We can just sell it down to 5 cents and make this huge profit. And, we're doing it because we're God's crusading angels on earth to take advantage of every opportunity to strip value out of the U.S. markets. Well, what they're not counting on, as I've discussed with you over and over again, is that the Logic shell is valuable. Brent's son is seeing dozens of deals. He's flipping the dynamic over the last few years on its head. Where you get punished, he's now able, I think, to punish shorts and Wall Street by taking advantage of the fact that the IPO market is essentially, the window is shut, and he is able to have his pick, cream of the crop, top of the Ritz, best of the best companies he can roll into the Logic shell. Now, they let a deal expire that was worth somewhere between 40 and 60 cents a share of Logic to you. He let that one expire, so I assume what he's looking at now, and may have already agreed, is a deal worth more than 40 to 60 cents a share to you. If we just choose the midpoint at 50 cents and treat that as the low, would call it 50 to 60 to 70 cents, that's what you're going to see, I think, in value in the Logic shell side, which I expect will be announced before, during, or shortly after the Aubrey SPAC side, which should be approved this week. It's up to the SEC, but they're overdue to approve it. The Aubrey SPAC side, because Aubrey SPAC is trading at $11 right now, it was priced at $10 the deal, so you're already up just under 10%. So I think you're looking at a minimum of $1.25 in the distribution, which will be called collective audience in value. But it's quite possible, if Aubrey SPAC is also looking at the same deal flow over the last many months that Brent has been sifting through, and remember, Brent's been in charge the whole time, that there will be additional deals rolled into Aubrey SPAC the instant that the Data Logic deal closes. Approval this week, 10 days to vote on it, maybe 11, 12, 13 days, 14, 15 days out, they say this is the record date, this is the effective date. That puts you in the middle of September. Immediately, in my judgment, they'll be announcing additional deal flow, additional revenues. That's on the Aubrey SPAC side of your investment. For 25 cents will be worth somewhere between $1.25 and $2.50 in value as soon as it's approved, voted on, processed, and additional revenues announced. I think you're looking at anywhere from $1.25 to $2.50 on that side of the Logic trade that you're paying 25 cents for now. The shell, I think, will, during that 15 days, will announce close either before, during, and after. I'm going to guess 50 to 75 cents worth of value. If you add two, call it, use the low end, $1.25 on the Aubrey SPAC, 75 cents on the shell, that's $2. You're paying 25 cents. You're looking at 8 times what you're buying for in value. Oh, but it's not showing in the stock price. Why isn't it showing in the stock price? There must be something wrong. This is Gary Gensler's stock market. Institutions and criminals do not have to locate shares. Remember, Goldman Sachs created the F3 button. You do not have to locate shares in Gary Gensler's stock markets. You do not have to deliver shares in Gary Gensler's stock markets because he is the policeman and he is captured by Goldman Sachs. But the rule book, as it was amended by Reg Show, requires not only that you locate shares before you sell them. If you're short selling, you have to locate shares to borrow them. You have to deliver shares. It is against the federal securities laws. But under Gary Gensler's somnolent regulatory supervision, the short sellers, people that sell without owning stocks, they sell without locating, they can self-fulfill, driving the price lower. That is what's going on. That's Gary Gensler. You vote for Biden, you get Gary Gensler. You vote for Kamala Harris, you'll get somebody like Gary Gensler. Unfortunately, if you vote for Republicans, you're going to get Cox or some other shill for Wall Street. The reason the stock prices do not reflect the value is because there are no trading desks, there are no research departments. Retail brokers are not allowed to recommend stocks under $5. If the stocks fall below $3 on one of the big bulge bracket firms, they have to sell the stock. All of the advantages in Gary Gensler's market are on the side of the criminals. Yet, management at Finger, at Logic, at GoLogic, at GTII, and several other names, whether late to the game or earlier to the game, are fighting hard to force settlement. Gary Gensler will not force settlement. It is a threat to Goldman Sachs. Therefore, he will not force settlement. It's in the rules. Down in Australia, they have an expression, you know the rules, Bill. Gary Gensler knows the rules, but he will not enforce the rules. Because if Goldman Sachs breaks the rules, it's not illegal. So if you want to be worried about Logic, hey, the stock price is down, worry. If you want to take advantage of it, because you have management in place that has struck a deal that's going to bust the cojones of the shorts, I wouldn't be against it. And my final thing I'm going to tell you on Logic is Brent's son introduced whales who were sniffing around Logic and GoLogic. He introduced those whales to Finger. And if it's those whales pushing the price of Finger, do you think they're going to ignore Logic or GoLogic? That's my answer on Logic. All right, let me see what did you miss? Not much. It has a cease trade order on Logic. Logic raised money through the Neo exchange with a group called, I don't know, Equity Research or something like that. You can go into the news and find it. They placed it with 4 so-called institutional funds, turns out to be criminal shorts. Logic raised that money at $3 a share on the Neo exchange. That stock went straight downward, under $1. Then they went to Ionic and raised money at around $1. It went downward to where it is now. But the lawyers at Ionic Ventures told me not only does Ionic Ventures not short any stocks, they haven't shorted any stocks, any shares of Logic. So thank God for that. But I believe Ionic represents and processes trades back to short sellers. I can't prove it because everything is hidden. And there's no regulators that will fight it. This is a $100 billion, trillion criminal enterprise that has captured the cops. But anyway, what Brent did is he broke his listing, he ceased to be listed on the NEO exchange. And I'm sure the NEO is fighting back against an honest CEO, just like the SEC and FINRA fight back against CEOs that try to fight back. Why is your stock going up? We want to see records. But they do nothing about the criminality that works on the downside. Hey, that's the world we live in. So I'm sure that's why you can't buy in Canada, because Brent removed the trading of logic from the NEO exchange. Just a sluice to the slaughterhouse. The NEO exchange, just a sluice to send the sheep, you and me, to the slaughterhouse for the big criminal funds. If Gensler's not going to force settlement, how are we going to squeeze any of these? It looks like the full, I don't know. Red Hook Texan, I don't know if we'll ever be able to. My answer to you is money. My answer to you is money. I don't think anything on Wall Street works as effectively as money. And so when the criminals are short 170 million shares of Finger, and the stock's now $5.75, and it goes to $6.25, and it goes to $7, they're losing money. And it won't matter that Gary Gensler is a mouse. His buddies on Wall Street will start losing money, and they will buy in their positions. And then they'll turn to Gensler and to the Treasury for relief because they lost hundreds of billions of dollars. So, is $6 the breaking point? I have no idea. They seem to be fighting $6 quite a bit. When I look at the chart, and Vince, my analysis of charts is rudimentary. You should watch Arca or Avid Trader. When I look at the chart, yes, I think $6 is extremely significant. If it breaks $6, I think the next spot is $6.50. If it breaks $6.50, I think the next spot is $7. I think $6.50 and $7 are both weak ass points of resistance. I think Rhode Island could kick their ass in a war. Then I think $8.50 becomes somewhat significant. It might require Rhode Island to join in with say, Connecticut to kick 8.50's ass. But then I think it's $10, and perhaps all of New England would have to join in briefly. But once it breaks $10, $90. $90. The SEC is captured by Goldman Sachs and Wall Street. The SEC has allowed, through ignorance, cooperation, or laziness, a problem to fester on Wall Street that's so big that even the honest people at the SEC don't know how to fix it. And they turn to so-called geniuses on Wall Street for their solutions, at Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley. But they're not going to fix this. The only thing that's going to fix this is honest looks at where we are and enforcing the rules, or the whole thing's going to come down. In the meantime, we can intellectualize, or we can focus on making it hurt them in the pocketbook. And you can make some money, and then we can intellectualize while we smoke our gitans and have drink our espressos on the banks of the Seine River. All right, so I'm gonna It's 12:51. I want to watch Djokovic in a half an hour, in 40 minutes. And I'm sorry for the interruptions. I don't know what happened. I don't know if that I'm being interfered with or what. But we'll be back. I'm gonna quickly eat something and then try to watch some tennis. Let's keep our eyes out. It's a nice volume today. 828,575 by 576. It got as high as 594. So I do think $6 means a lot to them. But on the other hand, every penny seems to mean a lot. That's a good point, Kit Kitteridge. If 20 calls show up, Jeffries might go down, Lynn Partners will go down, and I don't know anything about GTII tokens. Thank you very much for the question. Hedge funds won't so much destroy Lynn Partners. Hedge funds will be like sharks going after the so-called syndicate. Lynn Partners says they syndicated the deal. So whoever filled out the syndicate, those people, those funds will be destroyed. But yes, I think the hedge funds will circle around and get it. All right, so I'm gonna cut it off here. I hope that Djokovic wins in the heat and the humidity. And then I wish the best to the two Americans duking it out this evening. And it's not even 1 o'clock today. So let's see if there's some acceleration in volume and price and finger this afternoon. So cheers, peace, love, happiness, and all the doggy treats you can find. Peace.